Assalamualaikum and a very good day to everyone. Today our group will be presenting an ethical decision making toolkit for teachers, which we developed as a practical guide to help educators deal with ethical dilemmas in teaching profession. In our roles as future teachers, we are not only responsible for delivering academic content but also for shaping values, maintaining fairness, and setting good examples for our students. However, in reality, we may encounter challenging situations where the right decision isn't always black and white. For example, how do we respond when a student cheats on a test but is under emotional stress? Or how do we handle a conflict between maintaining professional boundaries and showing compassion? These are the kinds of questions that inspired us to create this toolkit. Our toolkit offers a clear step-by-step approach to ethical decision making, supported by established ethical theories and the Malaysian Code of Ethics for teachers. It is designed to be simple, practical, and applicable in real classroom settings. Throughout this presentation, we will walk you through the structure of the toolkit, explain how it works, and demonstrate how it can be used to address actual scenarios in the schools. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is Lauren Alphabeti Sonaidi. I would like to present my work step-by-step toolkit. So, step-by-step toolkit is a clear structure guide that helps teachers quickly handle moral dilemma. It draws on moral values, professional norms, and careful reasoning to support ethical decision making. Schools need this toolkit because moral choices are often complex, emotional, and significant. By following each step, educator can make sound decision using ethical theory and the teaching code of ethics. So the first step is state the ethical dilemma. Action clearly state the ethical conflict or decision that must be made. Question to ask: what is the ethical problem? What professional responsibility or value is in conflict? Second, ethical theory. Virtue ethic. What kind of educator do I want to be? Third, code of ethic refers commitment to learner, respect, honesty, and fairness. So the second step is gather relevant information and stock of view. Action, obtain all the fact, learns who is involved and how. We can think about student needs, school policy. Second, ethical theory, care ethic, how do welfare and relationship become affected. Third, code of ethic reference, commitment to the community and parents, build trust, foster student welfare. The third step is examine pertinent codes of ethic. Action we can take: examine the professional codes of ethic for teachers, and question to ask: what are my duties? Are there any policy that pertain to this issue? And ethical theory, we use deontology. What are my professional duties and regulation? The code of ethic reference: maintain team confidential, promote student welfare, act with integrity, like local teaching council policy. So the fourth step is think about alternative based on ethical principle. Action we can take, brainstorm and consider 2 to 3 alternative action, and we can apply theories to analyze. First, consequentialism. What is the action that generates the best consequence for the largest number of people? Second, deontology. What is the action that respect my responsibility and obligation? Third, virtue ethic. What will a sensible, compassionate educator do? And care ethic, who is in need of the most care and nurturing. And second, code of ethic refers commitment to the profession, conduct oneself in a way that brings credit to the profession. The fifth step is decide and justify. Action, select the optimal ethical course of action. First, justify decision by citing the ethical principle that underlie your decision, referring to appropriate section of the Code of Ethics, explaining the anticipate impact. Second, ethical theory, integrate approach, balance care, duty, virtue, and outcome. Third, Code of Ethics refers highlight values of fairness, integrity, and professionalism. So the sixth step is put the decision into action and communicate as necessary. Action, implement the decision respectfully and sensitively. As first, discuss with concerned parties, students, peers, and parents in line with confidentiality and respect. As second, ethical theory, we can use care ethic, talk with consent and cooperation. Third, code of ethic reference, protect student rights and maintain public trust. The last step is reflect and document. Action we can take, reflect on the outcome, what worked, what could improve. Document the process to ensure transparency and accountability. Second, ethical theory, we can use a review ethic, commitment to growth and ethical development. Code of ethic refers model continuous ethical reflection and responsibility. Overall, using a step-by-step approach helps teachers handle ethical issues and confidence and clarity. Guided by ethics and the teacher code, they can make thoughtful decisions that protect students, support professionalism, and building trust. Being ethical is always easy, but a clear process makes it easier and more effective.
Hi, my name is Nur Fatihah binti Zaidi and I'm from Bachelor in TESOL. Today I'm going to talk about the sample scenario dilemma number 1, and that is reporting a colleague. The overview of this scenario is the teacher noticed that a colleague is regularly using a belittling and sarcastic language towards the students in the classroom. That behavior does not involve the physical harm but could negatively impact the classroom whole learning environment and the students' emotional well-being. The teacher might be experiencing an ethical dilemma between maintaining the teacher's colleagues' loyalty and the fulfilling duty to protect the students. To apply the ethical decision-making toolkit in this scenario, the teacher needs to begin by clearly identifying the ethical issues, whether to report the teacher's colleague unprofessional behavior. Then, after the teacher has gathered some facts and documented the observed incidents, the teacher has to review the professional codes of ethics, which could emphasize a commitment to the student welfare and maintaining a respectful, supportive classroom environment. From the ethical theory perspective, the teacher has a duty to act upon conduct that could compromise the student's dignity. Utilitarianism could support the action as well, since the teacher intervening may prevent a further harm and can improve the overall classroom environment. Meanwhile, under the virtue of ethics, reporting the colleague's behavior could demonstrate professional integrity, moral courage, and care for the students. The action that can be taken for this scenario is, after the teacher consulting confidently with the school principal and reflecting on the implication, the teacher may proceed to report the conduct through the appropriate channel, thus ensuring that the student safety remains the priority. This decision upholds the standards of the teaching professions and could promote a respectful and nurturing education environment. For the second scenario dilemma is responding to academic dishonesty. The overview of this scenario is during a major exam, a teacher has caught a high-achieving student cheating and confirms the misconduct after a brief of investigations. The student admits to the act and pleads with the teacher to not report it, expressing their fears that it could jeopardize their university admissions and their long-term goals. The teacher faces an ethical dilemma between empathy for the student's anxiety and the professional obligation to uphold academic integrity. The teacher can apply the ethical decision-making toolkit to navigate these situations. Guided by the ethical theory ethics, the teacher needs to organize a clear duty to carry out the school rules regarding cheating from a utilitarian perspective. Addressing the incident promotes fairness and preserves institutional credibility. Even if it results in short-term consequences for the student, through the virtue of ethics perspective, the teacher acknowledges that acting with integrity and fairness is essential to modeling ethical behavior for all students. The action that can be taken in this scenario is, after the teacher consulting the issues with a department head and reviewing school policy, the teacher decides to report the incident as required and ensure the due process is followed. At the same time, the teacher can support the student emotionally by framing the incident as a learning opportunity, helping them to reflect on their choices and rebuild trust. This approach could maintain the academic standards while showing some compassion and educational purpose. For the third sample scenario dilemma is navigating a parent-teacher conflict over the curriculum content. The overview from this scenario is, a teacher has encountered a conflict where a parent objects to a novel that is being taught as a part of the class curriculum, claiming that the novel contains themes that they consider appropriate for the child. The parent demands both an alternative material for their child and that the novel could be removed from the class reading list entirely. The teacher faces an ethical dilemma between respecting the parent concerns and maintaining the professional autonomy and curriculum integrity. Using the ethical decision-making toolkit, the teacher can begin by clarifying the issue and reviewing the curriculum's approval status. By referring to the Code of Ethics, the teacher takes note of the importance of respecting diverse viewpoints while upholding the educational value of inclusive and meaningful content. From a deontological standpoint, the teacher has a duty to deliver the approved curriculum. Utilitarianism suggests that offering an alternative material may satisfy the parents without disrupting the learning experience for the wider class. Meanwhile, virtue of ethics could encourage the teacher to act with empathy, professionalism, and sound judgment. The action that can be taken in this scenario is the teacher can consult with their department head and principal to ensure the consistency with the school policy and to explore a balanced response in the end. The teacher can meet with the parents to explain the pedagogical purpose of the text and to provide an alternative material for the child while continuing with the units for the rest of the class. This resolution respects the individual family values while preserving the instructional integrity and promoting a respectful collaboration.
Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is Ahmad Azam and I'm from MNC Kota Baru, Kelantan. And this is and I am also taking Bachelor of Education Test Program, and this is my individual presentation for ESS Award 20103 Professionalism and Ethics. Practical tools: handling ethical dilemmas in school using decision-making flowchart. Start. Recognize an ethical dilemma. Next, recognize who is concerned: student, parent, peer, school administration. Next, assess school policy and professional code of ethics. Next, and then does the situation potentially harm someone if not report? If you say no, address student in private and monitor situation. If you say yes, talk with respect peer or manager without betraying confidence. And then notify appropriate authority, for example, counselor and principal. And next, record action taken and rationale. And finally, follow up with student and provide support. And then close. Do's and don'ts in integrating ethical theory. Do's. First one, remain academically honest. Second, look to the other student welfare and condition. And 3. Act justly, honestly, and with humanity. 4. Consider long-term impact on student development. 5. Consult college when unsure. And 6. Document incident correctly. As for the don'ts, first one, refrain from cheating to protect marks. Second, impose punishment without considering the circumstance of the student. And 3. Allow personal bias to inform decision. And 4. Focus only on short-term gains. 5. Make decision hastily and alone. And finally, 6. Do not keep record of issue or action taken. Checklist for teacher code of ethics. The first list is: have I taken into account all persons who are affected or involved in my decision? Second, have I been impartial and biased? And 3, do my action align with the national or state code of ethics for teacher? And 4, have I sought a supervisor, mentor, or ethical guideline when I was uncertain? And 5, have I considered the long-term impact on student and on my professional student?
In conclusion, the Ethical Decision-Making Toolkit for Teachers offers a structured and clear way to deal with ethical and professional issues in the teaching profession. This toolkit equips educators to make responsible, fair, and well-considered decisions that put students' welfare first, fulfill their professional responsibilities, and preserve community trust by fusing ethical ideas with the Malaysian Teachers' Code of Ethics. It is evident from the examination of actual problems like confronting academic dishonesty, reporting a co-worker, and resolving parent-teacher problems that making moral decision is not always simple, but it is essential. This toolkit assists educators in engaging in reflection, acting honorably, and striking a balance between their responsibilities as professionals, moral role models, and caregivers. Learning and using this toolkit as a prospective teacher equips us to handle challenging circumstances with professionalism, empathy, and confidence. That's all from me.
So, hello everyone, this is my reflection for ethical decision making toolkit for educators. I learned that professionalism is just about rules, it's about making thoughtful choices every day. When I face tough situation, I need to stay calm, follow school policies, and ask for help when needed. In the end, being professional helps build trust with students, parents, and college, and that makes me a better teacher. And also, being a professional and ethical teacher means always doing what's best for students and treating everyone with fairness and respect. This toolkit helped me see how important it is to set clear boundaries, communicate responsible, and keep learning and improving.
For my individual reflection, I'd like to share what I've learned throughout this project. First of all, I gained a much deeper understanding of ethical decision making and why it's essential in the teaching profession. At the beginning, I struggled to connect what we learned in theory with real life classroom situations. It felt a bit abstract, but through group discussion and real scenario examples, I began to see how fairness, empathy, and responsibility are key to making good decisions as a teacher. I also realized that our role as educators goes beyond academic. We are also shaping students' values and behavior through our actions. This project really helped me grow, not just academically but personally too. I feel more confident to face ethical challenges in the future classroom with clearer judgment and sense of purpose. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Niknur Indiliana Nabila binti Zulkarnain. I'm from MLC Kota Baru. My metric number is 208-2025-020-013. For individual reflection, I now have a far better knowledge of what it means to make moral choices as a future teacher thanks to this assignment. Initially, I believed that teaching was mostly about running a classroom and providing lessons. But now that I have learned about the ethical decision-making toolkit, I understand that being a professional educator means dealing with ethical dilemmas that they may have an impact on co-workers, parents, and students. I also learned on how important it is to pause and consider the bigger picture before taking action in any given situation from the toolkit's true instructions. It was a reminder that as a teacher, I will have to consider fairness, empathy, and the well-being of all parties in addition to following laws and regulation. I found, for example, that even when faced with hardship or suffering, moral values such as justice, compassion, and honesty must guide our actions. I also have to consider the type of teacher I want to be after completing this assignment. I aspire to be a trustworthy individual who listens, encourages, and upholds moral principles. Even though I am aware that I still have a lot of obstacles to overcome, I am more assured now that I have this tool set to support me in overcoming them in a morally and professionally responsible manner.
For my reflections, working on the ethical decision-making toolkit has provided me with insight into the messy realities of actually making the ethical choices that a teacher must face, except for a decision involving the clearly illicit. For instance, cases of academic dishonesty or a conflicted relationship between parents and teacher, ethical decisions tend to have different values pitted against each other. Applying ethical theories while keeping the code of ethics in view helped me to recognize a framework of critical thinking and acting in integrity. This project taught me that ethical teaching has nothing to do with putting on facade, but with creating that, modeling fairness, and looking after the wellness of students. I am considerably more confident in dealing with ethical dilemmas with a little professionalism and more than the little empathy. Using ethical theories of professional ethics allow me to see the manifestation of these values in practices such as academic dishonesty or parent-teacher disputes. This experience strengthened the commitment to uphold integrity while showing comparison in ethical dilemmas with clear moral judgment and professional confidence, whereas before I was intellectually unsure of what to do. That all from me.
Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is Ahmad Mahikabi Ahmad Izham and I'm from MSc Kota Baru, Kelantan, and this is and I am also taking Bachelor of Education TESOL program, and this is my individual presentation for ESS Award 20103 Professionalism and Ethics. Practical tools. Handling ethical dilemmas in school using decision-making flowchart. Start. Recognize an ethical dilemma. Next, recognize who is concerned: student, parent, peer, school administration. Next, assess school policy and professional code of ethics. Next, and then does the situation potentially harm someone if not report? If you say no, address student in private and monitor situation. If you say yes, talk with respect peer or manager without betraying confidence. And then notify appropriate authority, for example, counselor and principal. And next, record action taken and rationale. And finally, follow up with student and provide support. Then close. Do's and don'ts in integrating ethical theory. Do's. First one, remain academically honest. Second, look to the other student welfare and condition. And 3, act justly, honestly, and with humanity. 4, consider long-term impact on student development. 5, consult college when unsure. And 6, document incident correctly. As for the don'ts, first one, refrain from cheating to protect marks. Second, impose punishment without considering the circumstance of the student. And 3, allow personal bias to inform decision. And 4, focus only on short-term gains. 5, make decision hastily and alone. And finally 6, do not keep record of issue or action taken. Checklist for teacher code of ethics. The first list is: have I taken into account all persons who are affected or involved in my decision? Second, have I been impartial and biased? And 3, do my action align with the national or state code of ethics for teacher? And 4, have I sought a supervisor, mentor, or ethical guideline when I was uncertain? And 5, have I considered the long-term impact on student and on my professional reputation? And 6,